Welcome back to the Clydesdale Media Podcast. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am the Clydesdale. She is Elena Budz, and I am so excited to have her back. We talked to her right before the Atlas Games, and now some exciting things have happened in her life, and we're having her back. So welcome, Elena.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Good to be back.
Yeah. So, what I want to do is I'm going to dive into what's recently happened, and then I'm going to go back and I actually have some follow-up questions from our first interview. And then like kind of some things that like I want to talk Atlas games, some things like that, to kind of finish out the show.
Sure, perfect.
So sound good?
Yeah.
So if people don't know who you are a two-time semifinal athlete who keeps improving every year and just recently joined the Underdogs camp in Vegas.
Yes, I did. Exciting.
So, so why Underdogs?
Honestly, they obviously have grown since, maybe they first like got out like a few years ago. And um just seeing all of the incredible athletes that have come from that camp and who are working under Justin and Keifer, it's always been like a draw for me, you know. And so the fact that now it actually was an opportunity that came up, it was a given. So
Okay. So I got to ask, who approached who? Did they come to you or did you go to them?
So actually, one of the underdogs reached out to us. So that's how it went. That's
Okay.
how it first started. Yeah,
So that has to make you feel pretty excited.
it does. It like kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, let's kind of explore this a little bit more because you know things happen for a reason. So this didn't just come out of nowhere for no reason. So, of course, I wanted to explore it a little bit more and see if it was something that made sense and something that I would want to do. And so I did just that. Yeah.
So did you get a like try it on period where you went out to Vegas, kind of went through a week or so or a weekend and then made your decision?
Yeah, so once I did have the Zoom call with Justin, he encouraged for us to come out there and to just spend a week out there because obviously it's not like I'm moving 2 hours away where I could just drive, back home or whatever. It's like this is across the country move. And I've never been, I mean, the only time I've been to Vegas was for the West Coast Classic, that semifinal a few years ago. So other than that, it was like, yeah, let's try this out first. Let's see if the environment is exactly what I'm looking for, if it's the right environment, if I feel like I fit in, if it all makes sense. And the only way to do that is to go out there and to actually experience it for the week. And so that's what I ended up doing. And honestly, by the first few days and being around everyone, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty awesome.
So when about did this transpire? I know that, of course, Justin and all the underdogs were at West Coast Classic 2 years ago. Justin and Allison were in Montreal for Atlas Games. So he's seen you up close and in person at events.
Mhm.
Did they mention any of your performances in the courtship?
Yeah, so like when we did have the Zoom call with Justin, he obviously brought that up, said, we had seen each other at Atlas Games and like, the Buds and Scuds, and obviously, he was there with Allison. Um, so yes, he was, I'm sure, watching, and was there. Um, and obviously saw something, you know, in me and, my performances. So, and that was an honor. I appreciated that, a lot. So, yeah.
So when does this recruitment start? Because this is kind of a new thing for CrossFit, and we don't really understand, us outsiders don't really understand that kind of season when coaches are reaching out to people or people are reaching out to coaches. So did that happen over the summer after the games? You don't have to be specific, just kind of like general.
Yeah. It happened probably about a month and a half ago. It
Oh,
was
wow.
it was very soon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very recent. Yeah. Yeah, kind of, yeah, I would say month and a half to 2 months ago. Just, yeah, got reached out by, then kind of made the connections, made the calls, went out to Vegas for the week very shortly after, having a call. And I want to say, you know, 3 weeks ish later was when I, moved, decided to make the move out here.
So you've been there for about a month
I've been here
or
for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been, yeah, about
You're
two
an old
little
hat now.
so I'm
And you haven't
based
gambled away all your money?
I have yet to do that. The only time that I did that was when we went to West Coast Classic and we just, spent some time at a casino after the competition. I'm like, as soon as I lost my $20 in 2 seconds, I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. 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 So then what you had to see something in Justin that made you want to come to Vegas? Or was it more like more overall scope of the program?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I said in the beginning, just the athletes that have come from, under him and what Underdogs and Justin have produced is obviously something that you can't miss. And just the environment that you see via social media and what that attracts is what definitely drew me to at least explore it. And the fact that I would be around, you know, very well known athletes, whether they've been to the games or whether they've been, are trying to go to the games or making their way there or have been on a team or whatever, it's, it was definitely like, it, it was something that I just wanted to see if it was the right, fit for me as well. And it ended up being that it was. So, yeah, it's just very exciting. I think you're on mute.
I'm a professional.
I'm like, I hope I didn't mess
No, no, it's all me. It happens at least once a show. Got it out of the way early. So, um, I have to admit I'm a little bit biased that I am good friends with Justin and I love his coaching style and his technique. I
Mhm.
I love the passion that he shows in his athletes, and like when you are with him, he is all in on you.
Yeah, so like obviously only been here for a few weeks, but that is the number one thing that already I love is like when he, walks in the gym every day, he makes it a point to go to every single athlete in the gym and like say hi, say good morning, check in on them. And just like when it's their time, like that's all he's focused on. And then it's also when he leaves the gym at the end of the day too, like it's the same thing. It's a goodbye, see you later, just like that, those little things aside from like obviously the coaching and him being there throughout the entire session, and when he's focused on you, he's focused. Aside from all of that, like just those little things of, you know, feeling important and feeling just like present with him, you know, in that moment, really, that means a lot.
I know you're close with your mom. Justin preaches that Underdogs is a family. And
Mhm.
it's not just lip service. Like, I know they sometimes eat together. Heck, Alex let them live with her while they were moving into their new home. Like, it is truly a family. Is that another thing that attracted you there?
Absolutely. When I went out for the week, we ended up having a dinner one night at Ashley and Justin's house. And at first, I thought it was just going to be like a, you know, little get together. All of like the underdogs ended up coming, and I'm like, this is so cool. And they're like, yeah, you know, this is what we do, you know, a lot. I'm like, this is awesome. We ate together. We, you know, watched some shows. We talked. We played some board games, and it was just easy. It was natural. It really was like a family, because that's what he had said, you know, on the initial Zoom call, was like, we're all about family. And that was also the one of the drawing factors for me. It was like, I love that. And I'm like, I want to experience that. And as soon as we had that dinner, I'm like, yeah, he wasn't like, that wasn't a joke. They are actually a family. And whether it's like hanging out outside of the gym like that, or when it's inside of the gym, yes, we're focused, we're training, you know, we're working on whatever we need to, but it's also like such a supportive, encouraging environment, and everyone just wants the best for everyone. So it's really special.
So the head recruiter, I know for a fact, is Ashley. Like,
Oh,
when it's a tough sell, she gets involved. Did she need to get involved with you, or could she be hands off and just let like Kiefer and Justin take it?
yeah, so I actually didn't even meet Ashley until, I think we had that dinner at their house. Excuse me, the one night. So I think it was
Yeah.
pretty easy. I think I said yes very, very easily.
Yeah, so I don't know if have you heard the stories of Ashley recruiting?
I haven't, no.
So like with Kiefer, like she was trying to hook him up with a date to get him to move to Vegas. Like, hey, I found a girl.
Wow.
Like that hardcore.
Yeah, that is pretty
Ever since
hardcore.
I met Ashley, like at least once a month in my DMs, hey, Vegas is pretty cool.
I bet you she's trying to get you, yeah. That's amazing.
So
And she
yeah,
won't
like
stop.
she's hardcore.
Yeah, she is. Amazing though, honestly.
Oh, one of the best people on the planet.
Yeah, yeah. Always has a smile on her face.
So then you have Kiefer, who's kind of like the yin to Justin's yang,
Mhm.
right? Justin is this outpouring of emotion, a lot of like passion, and Kiefer's kind of like Mr. Laid Back. So you get both of them as a coach. So you get this kind of complete picture and complete how how up or how much are you looking forward to that kind of a coaching package?
I love it because it's such a good balance. Like, I think you need both of that. You know, you need the coach that is, you know, there for you, expresses that, you know, is very just like passionate about that, and shows. And then you also need the side that's like pretty straightforward and like not very emotional. I think that's a very good combo that they have here, and that is going to continue to bring success to me, to the all the other athletes, you know, that are here. And then you just get
So
Ashley then with all the smiles. And it's just
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So Justin came to fame, underground through Grid League, and then Carrie Pierce and him, their relationship together, the specialness of that relationship that was seen in the 2020 games where Carrie podiumed, elevated him to a whole new level, right? And that's when Underdogs was born. You bring on Bethany and Danielle, and then it grows on, and you have Matt and Kyra and Alex, and it just goes on. And Allison. So now you get out there. The athletes now are Kyra and Allison and Alex. Those are pretty much the core women. How do you fit in with them?
I mean, honestly, it was so easy. Like they made me feel so comfortable from the beginning. They made me feel so welcomed from the beginning. Like the week out there, I that was the first time I had met Alex and Kyra, and obviously I was at Atlas with Allie, but I didn't never really introduced myself, to her. So it's kind of like the first interactions with all of them. And right from the start, man, like it was so easy. And it was just like I met like three new really good friends from the start. And now that we get to train together, pretty much every day is like it's pretty much a dream come true because like I said before, it's so competitive, the environment. Like, of course we want to win and beat each other, but it's as soon as the workout is done, as soon as the strength work is done, whatever it may be, it's all encouraging, it's all supportive, it's fist bumps, it's, hugs, high fives, it's hellos in the, as soon as we walk in and see each other in the morning. It's like it's a combination of all of that, and it's so special. And the fact that I just like received that love from the beginning and that acceptance from the beginning makes me love this move and loves this change even more.
So we talked last time. Your background is in all-star cheerleading.
Yes.
Allie came from all-star cheerleading
It's been
right
so
here.
cool to like talk about it a little bit with her.
Yeah. So you guys have had those conversations?
Yeah. Yeah. The when I went out for the week in Vegas, um, we had just like talked about a bunch of things, but that was something that got brought up was like, hey, I heard that you did cheerleading, and oh yeah, no, so did you. And we just talked about the teams that we were on and kind of how we both started and where she went and where I went. And it was just like really cool to relate to, someone about that because I don't know, I don't really know many all-star cheerleaders in the CrossFit space right now. So it was just cool to be able to relate to her like that.
Yeah, and she's just like the best.
She really
Like
is. She's
like
so
really just the best. I don't even know how else to describe her other
yeah.
than just the best.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
sh
every athlete there.
yeah.
Every athlete there is so awesome,
Mhm.
from Matt to
Yes.
Kyra to Alex. Like I love every one of those guys, and I'm not supposed to have a rooting interest, but I do.
I love it. I'm all for
Yeah.
it.
So you're in Vegas, you're a Northeast girl,
Yeah.
and you go to the desert.
Yes.
So how are you acclimating to Vegas? I know it's only
Obviously
been 2 weeks.
yeah, I mean, obviously it took like, man, the first actual so I we arrived there because we drove across country. Um, so when we arrived on Friday, it was like Friday night, late, exhausted because my mom drove with me and then flew back. So we were exhausted. The next day was Saturday, and I'm like, I got to move around. I've been in a car for 3 days. I just need to move. So that first Saturday, we started off with like a track workout. And I'm like, all right, like let's just go for it. Let's just move. Man, well, that ended up being like a day where they had this crazy windstorm. So I guess there's windstorms out here in Vegas or in the West Coast. I don't know. Anyway, there was a huge windstorm that day. So on top of me not being able to breathe and acclimating to the dry, air here, there was a windstorm. So that was just great to start off the day. No, but it really was because we got to run, I got to run with like Allie, Carrie, Mitch. So it was a good group of us. So it was a great way to start the day. But then we went to the gym, we trained, ended up doing like the hardest 40-minute EMOM of my life. But I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I'm thankful. I'm moving. And I know it'll get better. But the first probably week, so yeah, I would say week or so, it was just acclimating as best I could. Like, obviously, I knew that it was going to take a little bit. So I didn't, stress or worry. I was just thankful and happy to finally be there and be in that environment. Um, so now I'm starting to finally feel like, all right, I'm good. I think I can do this thing out here. So I can't hear you.
I swear I'm a professional. I swear. So my co-host who's actually traveling back from
Oh,
Virginia
what
right
was the
now.
email?
What
Okay.
was EMOM?
All right. So it was minute one, we had to do, I think it was 13 cows on the echo bike. Or no, start off with a ski. It was 13 cows on the ski. Then we went into, I think it was like 6 to 8 muscle ups, ring muscle ups. Then it was back to the bike for 13 calories on the echo bike. Then it was a heavy yoke. Maybe it's like 50-foot yoke. I don't know what it was. It was like, I think 450, something like that. One round, and then the next round was like a heavy sled push. So listen, it doesn't sound terrible when you listen
Oh,
to
it
it,
sounds terrible.
but my machines ended up turning into like, all right, just work for 45 seconds because I just had nothing left. Oh, it had wall balls in it. So that was another minute. That had tall and heavy wall balls. So it was just lots of breathing. Lots of
And
breathing that
and
day.
Kat says I'm out. That would also be the hardest EMOM of my life.
My life, yeah. It was no joke.
So how you're not super tall, right? You're
Now I'm 5'4". I mean, I guess that's
5'4".
average.
Okay. Yeah, Kat's like 4'11". She's
Oh,
really
okay.
5'1". She's really 5'1". I'm just giving her
Okay.
shit.
But still, wall balls are tough then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wall balls are her least favorite movement.
Oh, yeah.
So when more about acclimating, how
Mhm.
much water were you drinking per workout with that dry heat? Because I know when I was there for West Coast,
Yeah.
like like I'd walk 10 meters and my mouth was so dry I couldn't swallow.
Yeah. So I've noticed that I've been filling up my water bottle in the gym more times than I ever have when I was back home. It I mean, and Allie kind of helped me out with this too when I was visiting for the week out here. She was like, even though it's not like too hot, just still make sure, you're drinking enough water because it is just very dry out here. So like ever since that moment, I'm like, all right, just even if you're not thirsty, just make sure you're drinking enough water. And ever since that moment, I'm like, all right, just making sure that I am getting in enough and making sure, I'm taking in, salt and all of that throughout the day. Um, because like, yeah, definitely the first few days, I'm like trying to work out. My mouth is like, I'm like, I
Yeah.
can't even talk right now. So,
Yeah, so, one of our members, Wad Zombie, Nick from Wad Zombie, he's
okay.
awesome, by the way. He's just starting to learn about you, and he's like, "She's a beast."
Thanks.
So so the cross country trip, right?
Yeah.
That's actually something I've always dreamed of doing. Now,
Mhm.
I'm sure you did it rushed, but What were the highlights of the trip going across the country?
So the biggest highlight was definitely getting to do it with my mom. So the fact that her and I were able to just do that together, that's always been something that she's wanted to do. Now, yes, we did do it somewhat rushed because we had a destination where we wanted to get to. So we didn't get to, stop places or whatnot. But honestly, the views along the way, even though we didn't stop, there was, like, no need to, because going through all of the states and looking at everything, it was like the pictures, the videos, they really, I know it's super cliche, but they don't do justice at all to, like, what your eyes actually see as you're driving across country. Like, Colorado was probably the coolest state that we drove through. It was unbelievable. So, yeah, just getting to experience all that, and then, like, you go through Kansas and it's 100 miles without seeing anything, just flat. It was, like, the craziest thing. So it goes from Colorado with all these mountains and canyons and whatnot to then just flat. It's like, "Okay, I hope we don't run out of gas right now, because that won't be good."
Yeah, all you see are cows, wheat.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
like, no service for a good amount of time. Like, yeah, hopefully no one breaks down out here.
So you just took in the natural beauty. You didn't need to see like the biggest ball of yarn or any of that crazy stuff.
No, we didn't do any of that. It was just the beauty of all the states that we went through was unreal. The one state that we did stop at, though, and actually, like, take it in and take pictures was Utah. Um, so we just, like, found this little area to kinda turn off and to go, like, view and explore, and so that's the one thing that we did, because I looked at my mom and I'm like, we gotta at least stop somewhere. Like, we're driving across the country right now. Let's just at least stop and look at, something. So we ended up stopping in Utah, and that was just, it was unbelievable. It was great.
So what I find fascinating, and that's cool that you stopped in Utah because I just seen a TikTok video where a guy was making a topographical map of the United States and 3D printing each state. So I grew
Wow.
up in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
right? So you have to go, that's where the Appalachian Mountains are. And you get up into the Appalachian Mountains and you think, man, that the scenes are beautiful there. You can see so much. And he held up the 3D print of Utah compared to Pennsylvania. And it was like Pennsylvania, Utah. Like
Yes.
the topographical part of it was so like 4 or 5 times what
Yeah.
Pennsylvania was.
Yeah.
And in the Appalachians in Pennsylvania is the highest point east of the Mississippi. So like that tells you like it's crazy tall when you get out west.
Crazy. Like, you can't even explain it. It is unbelievable out there. It's like the coolest things I've ever seen so far to date in my life, for sure.
Yeah, I have not explored enough of the west part of this country and I've got to do it soon.
Yeah. Hey, let's go, Ashley. She's gonna get you to it.
Well, honestly, I think my wife and I are coming out to Vegas to visit, to drop in, see what you guys are all up to,
Oh,
maybe get
cool.
some interviews live, and then do some stuff like that. But uh, yeah, because it gets cold here in the winter, and that's the time to come visit you guys.
Yes, for sure. And I'm like, "So what does it get out here?" And they're like, "Oh, right now is kinda like the coldest that you'll see." I'm like, "Really? So, like, 50 degrees?" I'm like, "Okay, that's really cool."
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
yeah, we're actually get like really warm right now. It
I
was
know,
like
I've been
70
talking to
today.
my mom and my family, they're like, we've had such a good week." I'm like, "What does that mean?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's like high of 75 today." Like, "Oh, wow, it's warmer over there than it is here today."
Yeah. So you talked last time had you on about how close you and your mom are, that you guys are best friends. Um, and I divulged that I'm a mama's boy, and that my mom and I are really tight too. So how hard is it that you're now clear across the country from your mom?
It's hard for sure. I mean, I miss my mom, I miss my family, all the time. Um, but the fact that not just her, but my whole family, when they found out about, me moving out here, they're all so supportive of all of this. And so the fact that they are made the move and made being out here that much easier, because it's like, yes, it's far, but we can still FaceTime. We can still talk. It's not, the end of the world. We still, you know, they can come and visit here. I'm going to go home. So it's like we can still make it work. I'm trying to chase this dream of mine. And like I said, they're so supportive of it. So they just want me to go after it and have fun and enjoy it. So the fact that they're like that, it's made being, all, these hours away from them that much easier. So I'm very thankful that, they've been like that. Um, yeah.
Gosh,
It's okay.
you need to be my producer.
I don't know what the sign is, the symbol. I can't hear.
um, so two things. So I'm allergic to my dog. That's why I have to mute all the time because I just have to clear my throat so that I can
Okay.
speak.
Okay.
But I will not get rid of my dog. And it actually is a good segue into this question, which is
Okay.
two things. One, the flights to Vegas are pretty economical compared to other places you would fly to,
Mhm.
right? Two, did you bring a friend with you to Vegas to keep you company?
100% I brought my baby boy. He's sleeping right now. He's over there. But yeah, you betcha he made the cross country trip with my mom and I. He did not like us being in the car for the 3 days because he's not great in the car, but he did it. He made it. I'm so proud of him for doing it. And it honestly has made him better in the car since, by the way, because I think he now realizes that, oh, nothing's going to happen when I hop in the car with mom. It's all good. But yeah, also having him here with me has made the transition, the move so much easier too, because it's like I have my best friend with me. So I'm not alone. I didn't
Yeah.
just move here completely by myself. It's like, no, I have him. Yeah, he can't talk, but I talk to him, that's for sure.
And he is a
He's a golden retriever, 2 years old.
beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Looks like a big fuzzy snuggle bunny.
Oh gosh, I love him. He's so perfect. He definitely hears me right now too.
So Andrew says, Scott, you need to have your guests make a sign that says you're on mute.
Okay, so that's yeah. He's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. My dog is much smaller. My dog is Chihuahua Yorkie mix
Okay, okay,
with the coloring of a Rottweiler. And
okay.
he thinks he's a mini Rottweiler. Like
Oh,
he thinks he's the toughest dude on the block
yes.
and he's 20 pounds.
That's usually how they go. Like, the woman who I'm rooming with right now, her and her mom have a bunch of, like, little dogs too. And, which is so great for my dog because, like, he's got a bunch of friends wherever he goes now, but that's I've never, like, lived in a house with little dogs before, but that's exactly right. Like, they think that they're massive, but they're, like, "You're 10 pounds," And it's, like, the funniest thing.
And all of Walter's friends are big dogs, like
Okay.
labs. My nephew's dog is like Austrian something, this beautiful, massive dog. Like all of his friends are 100 pounds.
Okay.
And Walter thinks he can take them all on.
Oh, poor guy, yeah. He's like, "No way, man."
Now, where his advantage are is he's so quick that if they
Oh, yeah,
even
those
try to
little
like
legs.
paw him or anything, he's gone.
Yeah. or it can, yeah, just disappear, hide somewhere where they can't get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to go back now that we've got you to Vegas. I think I have all my notes. Um, one last thing about Vegas. When we talked to you last, we talked about your belief in you, were, that you belonged in these semifinals with these people. And you said that there had just been a recent turnaround to that. One thing that I love about Justin is that is a big thing for him, getting his people to believe in themselves. Have you noticed that in the short time that you're there? And where are you on that scale of believing that you belong?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like that's what another thing that I love about his coaching is that he is always trying to get his athletes to eventually um get to that full belief, that full confidence in themselves, and I've definitely noticed that with just like how he's been interacting, with his other athletes, and then also him getting to learn and to know about me, and how to get me to eventually get there as well. Um, so I think that's just like a really special thing that he has as a coach and as a person too. It's like you always, yeah, you need someone to tell you how to go faster on a workout or to do something better. But at the end of the day, if the athlete isn't, if they don't believe that they can do that, then it's gonna make it a lot harder for them to actually get to that point. So I think, like, that's the foundation of it, is that belief, and I love that he focuses on that, and I'm excited to continue as, this season starts to get going and to continue getting more time under him and with him, um, to see what that does for me. Because yes, I have kind of worked on that on my own before I moved out here. But now that I'm in this environment, I'm excited to see what that looks like under this, you know, new coach, this new environment. Yeah.
So famously, Alex, and when she made the semifinal, her shirt, her spot, like to help her pay for the games, said "Believe" on it. It's the Ted Lasso sign that she had on the front of her shirt. I don't know if you knew that, um,
No.
but it was a big part of her story. And when I heard you were going to Underdogs, and I had listened back to what we had talked about, I was like, man, that's the perfect place for her, because that is, it's just meant to be.
It is.
Um, So you're now in Vegas. Do you have to work to support yourself, or are you able to make this a professional living yet?
I mean, eventually I would love to get to that point for sure of not, you know, of becoming like this full-time athlete where I'm just focusing on, training, getting that done and in, and then my recovery and whatnot. But I know that doesn't come right away. Like my bio in my, I think Instagram has for the longest time has been like earned, not given. And it's like, yeah, I got to earn that. And it's going to take time to get to that point. Um, so until then, just work hard and you'll eventually show people, you'll show the world that like, you know, who you are. So no, I am coaching at Rhino currently.
Awesome.
So yeah. So doing
So
that.
I knew you were coaching before,
Mhm.
and so was that a pretty seamless transition to Rhino in Vegas?
Yeah, it was. I mean, and I've been coaching for a long time anyway. So, the hardest part is just learning people's names, in the beginning. It's like, you're walking into a whole new community. So it's like, okay, hi everyone, like I'm new to you, you guys are new to me. So it's just the beginning stages that are like, all right, let's feel this thing out. But after that, you break the barrier. It's it's just like, it's coaching at any other place. And I'm thankful that they have that opportunity for me here.
So mini psychiatry here. Do you identify right now more as a coach or an athlete?
Right now, I would say I'm inching closer to athlete.
Okay.
Yeah.
What how will you identify yourself when you deem yourself a success?
Like meaning coach or athlete between those two. Oof.
Yes.
Um, athlete. Athlete,
Okay. Can I ask why the pause?
because I think I've been both for so long, like coach and athlete, and both have helped me get to where I am right now, and both will continue to get me to where I want to go to. So it's like I don't want to not give credit to either one because they both have played a huge role in my journey. Obviously, an athlete work actually doing the work to, get to where I want to get to and my goals and my dreams, but also the coaching side of it has been a massive part of my life, and it's where I've met so many amazing people who have supported me throughout this journey as well and have helped me get to this part. And so it's like I don't want to not give credit to both, or either or.
So here's a follow-up. When you coach, do you get so connected to your athletes that it's hard for you to sever that tie to deem yourself a success?
I do love my athletes, like who I work with and who I get to coach. Like with all the gyms that I've been at and all the gyms that I've gotten the opportunity to coach at, I have made amazing connections with all of them and lifelong friendships with all of them. So, yeah, it's like I'm not just an athlete. I have also have this amazing other side to me that has connected me with incredible people in my life. So, yeah.
Do you see a comparison in the way you look at your athletes and the way Justin looks at his athletes as family?
I do. Until just now, I haven't like thought about that, but that's probably why coming to Underdogs was such an attraction for me because it's not just you know, you're my coach, I'm your athlete, that's where it ends. It's more than that, it's deeper than that, and that's exactly where I go with the people who I've coached along the years. So, yeah, until you just asked me that, that's not something that I've ever thought about, but that absolutely plays a role in why I have loved being here and why I chose to be here.
So you saw a coaching style you were very familiar with.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It's the care, man. It really is. It's the care that he puts into his athletes that, yeah, I guess that's what I have always tried to do with mine too. So, yeah, it's
So
funny.
let's take a look back. West Coast Classic 2021, you finished 21st place. Atlas Games 2022, you finished ninth place. What did you learn in that year and your finish at Atlas Games?
I think a big I mean, obviously, I matured as an athlete, and I was so new with West Coast, and that was my first big competition. I had never done anything like that before. I was, like I said, still so new to, competing at this high level with all of these high level athletes. And so it was like I didn't know what to expect. Whereas now I had been to that competition. I had that experience. I grew as an athlete. I matured as an athlete. I obviously got better, worked on what I needed to worked on up here. And Atlas Games was I was very proud at the end of the weekend, and that was honestly my goal out of that weekend was no placements. Wherever I placed was wherever I placed. I wanted to just be proud of myself and my efforts and my mindset all weekend and just do what I know that I can. And it turned out to be the best competition and obviously, performance that I've had to date. So, yeah, it was pretty special.
So my next question was, what were you most proud of? So what event, what moment were you most proud of during that weekend?
Um, I don't know if there was like a specific moment that I was most proud of. I was proud of how I came off of the floor and how I acted from one event to the next, from one day to the next. So like in between the events and you know kind of drowning out the noise or the you know whatever that whatever was going on, in my head, I was able to just stay focused, stay present, and in that workout, I honestly I know it's very cliche, but it's like I was just confident going into the workout, whatever it may be, whether it was movements that I knew I would do well at or movements where I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go, but do what you can. And so I just did the best that I knew that I could and controlled what I could control, stayed in my lane, and I was just proud of my efforts in each of the workouts and then how I was in between the events, whether the event went really well and I surprised myself, or whether, the event didn't go as well and, maybe I didn't place where I wanted to place. So, yeah, just like all the learning that came from each workout, what I took away from it was definitely something I'll always remember.
So you were kind of in that spot where you just missed the last chance qualifier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did that impact the way you felt about the weekend, or were you like, I'm just not ready yet?
So um going into that final workout of the legless rope climbs and the shuttle run, I think I was in like the 8th place spot. So I was like, "Oh, awesome."
Oh yeah,
Last
we
year.
were watching.
Yeah. So and then, legless rope climbs have and at West Coast, you know, they've been a struggle for me, and I've just worked a ton on them since West Coast and since that really exposed me. So we put in a ton of work in them, and I was just ready to, like I said before, just stay in my lane in that work. I knew it wasn't fantastic, but I was just gonna do what I could do. And I ended up having, just one missed rep on the rope climb, which obviously is very costly in that kind of workout. But stayed calm throughout that no rep. I didn't freak out like I probably would have if it happened, a year prior or whatever. I just stayed calm, went when I was ready, ended up getting the rep, finished the workout. So I knew kind of in that moment when I had that no rep, I'm like, man, you probably just lost that chance, of getting into that last chance qualifier, which, yes, I had that in the back of my head before I went into that last workout. Um, and then obviously when I heard, my name not be called for that sixth, seventh, or eighth place finish, it's like it was a bummer, for sure. I'm so happy for the athletes that did, but it was definitely a bummer, to not hear that because of my name being there right before that workout. And then because of that workout, it didn't happen. But it's just something, it's a movement, it's a workout that I need to work on, and I know that I knew that going into it. Um, so afterwards, no, it didn't affect my, that I was upset at myself, because of my placement. It really like, yeah, it would have been super awesome to be able to do the last chance qualifier, but I was still proud of myself and I was still proud of the weekend because I had probably the best weekend ever, of competitions. So I couldn't let that one little slip up take away from the rest of the wins that I had.
Well, the good news is the one thing that underdog athletes are good at are rope climbs.
God, I know. I know. We do rope climbs uh I think twice a week. Like this is great.
Yeah, watching Alex and Matt at Granite Games was
Alex is
unbelievable.
amazing at legless rope climbs. Oh, it's so amazing to watch her. Yeah.
So, last time we talked, when asked you about your past and your activities, your fitness stuff like in the past, you said you really didn't like stick with softball or any of those kind of things, and you'd fallen into cheerleading. At what point in your life did you find out that you were competitive and that there were things you wanted to win?
It was definitely during cheerleading because cheerleading it's a team sport. And so if one stunt falls, it's on the whole team. It affects the whole team. So when someone or people aren't putting in, when the whole group isn't putting in the exact same effort, then you're going to have those moments where you're going to be exposed. And when that kept happening in cheerleading or at our competitions, that's when I'm like, I just want to showcase what I am capable of. And I didn't know at the time what that would even mean or what that would look like because obviously I was in a team sport. So it's like I can't really show my um, talents and hard work and whatnot in that kind of setting. But obviously, it led me to then CrossFit and being like, okay, like this is a sport that I can do on my own, and I determine how hard I want to push and the work that I want to put in. So that's super cool.
So we're coming up on the hour, so we're gonna wrap this up with just a couple questions. You grew up in upstate New York. You moved to New Hampshire for about a year.
Mhm.
You've now moved to Vegas. Do you think Vegas is going to be a long-term CrossFit home for you, or do you hope that that's the case?
Being in this environment now for the past few weeks, I hope that it is. I didn't really think that I would see myself like long term here, but now that I've been in here for, obviously it's only been a few weeks, but I I really do love it out here, and not just the gym setting, but just like the environment here, the weather here, just the vibes and everything. I feel like it fits me. And yeah, I hope that I see myself, here for the the future.
So, speaking of not too distant future, have you sat down with Justin to talk about your goals for 2023?
Not yet. I mean, it's been like kind of in passing or, on like the initial Zoom call that we had. It was like a quick kind of answer question, type thing, but not anything, that we've sat down yet to do. But I will be very
Or
excited to do that.
yeah, so
I
you're
think
looking forward to that.
he knows what I want, and he knows what I've been working towards. So he's already got an idea of it, so
So, can I ask how old you are now?
I'm 24. I just turned 24.
24.
Yeah.
So, you are just getting into the peak of CrossFit age. And
Yeah.
this is so the window's just opening up.
Mhm.
So, what do you want out of the 23 season? And then we'll see if Justin modifies it later.
Um, I think out of the 2023 season, I wanna obviously keep getting better. I want to work on my weaknesses that have exposed me in competitions that have affected, my placements. I want to get my strengths even stronger. I want to um, keep working on my mindset, my confidence, and just everything that goes into a competition that doesn't have to do with any like physical abilities. Um, And if at the end of the day, if all of that lines up and all of my hard work and my effort into each workout goes as planned at a semifinal and it becomes a game spot, then I would be over the moon. But I'm not putting that as like my sole focus because I have in the past and it's then affected my ability to focus on like just the daily training and all of the wins that I had gotten over the training season you know so yes, that's always been the goal, is to go to the CrossFit Games as an individual, and if that happens this upcoming year, amazing. But I'm more focused on I want to see the progress in my strengths, in my weaknesses, in my mindset, in my day-to-day routine.
Is part of the process getting your weaknesses stronger to a point where if it happens, turns into it will happen. Because isn't that belief and isn't that confidence?
Yeah, for sure. That's why I also said I got to keep working on, what goes on up here with those movements where I'm still like, ooh, I don't really know how that's going to go.
But it's also okay to be realistic when you
Mm,
know there's things you have to work on.
for
But
sure.
at some point that has to change from we need to work on this to I can win this.
Yeah. Yep. And that's why like getting my strengths even stronger to the point where like at competitions, at semifinals, like I don't just place, top 10 in a workout. It's like, no, get into that top 5, that top 3, try to win a workout because that's what's gonna, separate you. Like that's what's gonna put you on top of the leaderboard. So getting my strengths stronger to help that out as well as getting my weaknesses, even better,
So my final question is that the season has changed a little bit. We're going from a 4 semifinal continent to a 2 semifinal continent, with the top 10 going to the games instead of the top 5. Do you like the new way, or did you like the old way better?
I mean, to be completely honest, I haven't really thought that far. Um, there's just been a lot going on. I obviously have seen the changes, you know,
Scott, let me unpack.
what I know, I know I still have, like, bags and stuff. I've obviously seen the changes and whatnot, that CrossFit's doing this season. But that hasn't been like a talk inside of the gym actually since I've been here. Like there hasn't been chatter about it. Justin hasn't said anything about, it to us or like kind of picked our brains or whatnot. So it honestly hasn't been something that I've even given thought. I'm just kind of in that mindset of like, tell me what to do, I'll do it. And like, if it makes sense, let's go. Like, let's try. Let's do this. So, um, yeah, I mean, bring on the 2023 season. That's what I'm ready for.
I can actually hear Justin in my head right now going like, it's still 20 people from North America, right? Like still 20 people.
I
So
know. That's why just make it clear cut.
yeah,
Yeah.
5, 10, still getting 20,
Yes,
right?
exactly. So just let's just get there.
Yeah.
Let's have fun.
Well, Elena, you are just a joy to interview. Thank you so much for jumping on. I wish you all the luck there in Vegas, and we will be staying in touch to make sure that we're following your career through the 23 season and beyond.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I've loved coming on here, the first time and then the second time, obviously, as well. It's just as great. So thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you.